welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to be looking at some scary letters that were sent to a family who moved into a haunted home. The case is still unsolved, and the letters remain some of the most terrifying things that have ever been written. Ready? Let's do this. In 2011, a family was forced to flee their home after receiving anonymous letters telling them they were being watched. It all started when the family moved into their new home. Little did they know it came with a stalker. This is the real-life story of the Watcher, and it will leave you believing in ghosts, or at the very least, you'll believe in karma. Dean and Gwen moved into their dream house with their 3 children. They had finally saved enough money to afford a mortgage. So when they saw this beautiful 5-bedroom colonial-style house listed online, they jumped on it. Now they are calling it their nightmare home. Dean and Gwen knew that the house was old. It was built in 1905, and before they bought it, they had the home professionally inspected, so they would know about any repairs that needed to be made. Once they were given the all-clear, they moved right in. After a few months of living there, they started getting creepy letters. The first letter was written on plain white paper with black ink. It read, "I've been watching your home for many years. I've been watching you now." At first, Dean thought it was just a prank. After all, who sends a letter like that to a complete stranger? But then another one came. The second letter was slightly more detailed than the first. It said, "You should leave this house. You shouldn't be here. Leave now." Naturally, Dean and Gwen were terrified. What kind of sick person would send them such disturbing messages? Then the third letter arrived. This one contained a picture of the house. They knew the stalker had taken the picture, because they recognized their freshly painted white picket fence that they had put up themselves. The message said, "Nice fence you got there. Don't forget to keep it white so we can see it from our window." Was someone actually watching them from a window? Who was it? And why were they sending these threatening messages? As time went on, the letters kept coming. In total, they received over 30 letters from the Watcher. Many of the letters warned them to leave town immediately, while others threatened bodily harm to both them and their children. Some of the messages included, "Leave the town. We will find you, and we are everywhere. We are watching you, your children, everyone," one even said. "No one knows what lurks in the cellar of that old house." Did whatever entity lurk in the cellar also write the letters? Other letters went into detail about the family's daily activities, which scared them even more. How could this person know what they were doing? How could he or she have been watching them without their knowledge? This wasn't the friendly neighborhood watch. These letters were scary, and the tone was very sinister. Dean and his wife were paranoid. They were afraid to walk outside, and even more afraid to let their children play in the front yard. They knew the police couldn't help them because none of the letters gave any clues as to who the sender was. There was no return address, and the postmarks were missing from each envelope. Dean did something that most people wouldn't do in order to catch the writer. He set up a surveillance camera near his mailbox. After several days of waiting, he finally caught a break. He saw a man in a baseball cap leaning over to check the mail. The man was wearing sunglasses despite the overcast day, and he seemed to be looking around. The man walked away after seeing the camera. Dean called the police, but by the time they arrived, the man was gone. When Dean showed the police the footage, they agreed that it was strange. However, they didn't seem too concerned. They told him that whoever it was probably just wanted to scare his family away. Maybe it was a neighbor with a grudge. But Dean knew that wasn't the case. He could never get his family to leave their new home, especially not after pouring so much money into fixing it up. But the letters weren't the only spooky thing that happened in the home. Strange things started happening all over the house. Every night they heard footsteps and shaking coming from the attic above their bedrooms. Sometimes they smelled a musty odor, as if someone had just come out of an old grave. Then sometimes the shaking would happen during the day while no one was home. Dean found a loose floorboard on the second floor, and it turned out that there was a hollow space underneath it. He almost felt like there was something down there watching him. When Dean and Gwen had the attic cleaned out, they found a hidden compartment. Inside the compartment, they found a small notebook. The pages inside the book contained a diary written by one of the previous owners. She wrote about how she had seen the ghost of a little girl roaming the halls of the house. According to the diary, the little girl's name was Marie. Her parents had abandoned her, and she had died of starvation. The diary ended abruptly, and no one ever found out what happened to Marie. Could Marie be the ghost that the family was hearing in the attic? Is it possible that she was writing the letters to chase them out of the house? And if so, why did she want them gone? Some people say that ghosts often try to communicate with the living. Maybe Marie just wanted to tell them that she was there. Perhaps she was trying to warn them about something. As the months passed, the letters became more violent. Some of them even threatened to take the children away. Gwen became so frightened that she refused to answer the door. No one was there when the children went to answer. They could easily slip out of their coats and sneak inside. She feared that one of the family members would end up dead. As it turned out, she was right to be worried. In July of 2012, one of the children left the front door unlocked. A man named Nathan Miles slipped inside and murdered Dean. Police arrested Nathan and charged him with murder. As it turned out, Nathan had lived in the home back in the 70s with his sister. They had left and returned to find the home sold. Nathan had become enraged and decided to scare off the new owners so he could buy back his childhood home. He had been stalking them for over a year and had even followed them to Pennsylvania. While they were on vacation, he broke into their home and stole a laptop, camera equipment, and jewelry. On his way out, he encountered Dean and stabbed him to death. Even though Nathan was arrested, the mystery of the letters remained unsolved. Police searched his house but couldn't find any of the letters. They also searched the house where he grew up, but those efforts proved fruitless as well. Although Nathan was a suspect, police never got to the bottom of who was really writing the threatening letters. So here's the question for you. Do you think a ghost was writing the letters? Or was it simply someone with a sick fascination? I personally think that it was a ghost. It doesn't make sense that someone would stalk this family for so long and go as far as breaking into their home and stealing items. Also, the fact that the house had a tragic history only adds to the creepiness of the story. Now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Write down your thoughts in the comments below. Please share this video with others. It really helps me out. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time. Bye.